Back in 1997, something rather special happened to the humble Civic. The Type R was born. Now sadly we didn't see the EK9 on British shores. Mind you, subsequent models did make it. The FK8 Type R Facelift. Welcome to Planet Auto.
When you're looking for a hot hatch, you're going to want the best there is. And arguably, this is the very best in the world. It's the closest you're ever going to get to an everyday racing car. We have the GT, which is just over 39,000. Yes, there are some subtle differences to the pre-facelift model, including this accenting here. Now the red is a signature of the Type R, and you can see it in this carbon fibre style splitter at the bottom. It combines curvature and angles to create the perfect muscular and performance look. You've got automatic LED headlights, we've got the GT, so we've got LED fog lights, and you've got rain sensing wipers. And there's a heck of a lot more safety on here than you would expect, including adaptive cruise control, blind spot detection, and cross traffic monitoring. As we have the GT, we have the 20-inch Berliner alloy wheels. Now the other size is 19, and they're not particularly small either. But with that 30 profile tyre, not really very forgiving, but unlike me, they're built for speed and not for comfort. And the combination of the flared wheel arches and the body kit and the way it just flows down the side of this car. I mean, yes, okay, these vents aren't functional, but they are stylish. And wouldn't it be nice if this was really carbon fibre? All in all, it just adds to that menacing look. And you can see from here how low down this car really is. To me, the Type R wouldn't be the Type R without this racing spoiler. Although if you're looking for something a little more subtle, the Sportline. Sleeper? You still have your 3 exhausts, but you do now have active sound management. Now the rear really does match the front in terms of the aggressive lines, the curves, and it's just stunning. Airflow is key with this car, and you can see it everywhere you look. Even with the sculpting here and here, it's all about the performance. Mind you, this car does top out at 169 miles an hour. And you've got parking sensors, a reversing camera, and rear cross traffic alert.
Okay, it's not the highest ride height, but let's face it, it's not really built for practicality. Keyless entry, I suppose the only challenge is this bucket seat. But the cars I've owned, I'm kind of used to it. Reaching out, yeah, but it's worth it. Good to see you again, old friend. The FK8 hasn't changed very much inside at all, but in all honesty it didn't really need to. This is just a facelift model, which means you do get the odd tweak. For example, a new gear knob. The leather's gone and you've now got this. And to be honest, it feels better. You now have things like knobs and shortcut buttons. Also there's a night mode here. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can also set some of the car's settings. And of course a DAB radio. And it's not a bad sound system, it really isn't. You've also got your lane keep assist, but in all honesty it's more like the car steers itself. If you go for the limited edition, they remove things like this, lots of things to make it lighter, so it's faster. I've got decent headroom and I've got decent legroom. I've got a footrest to the left hand side and 3 pedals, as it's a 6-speed manual box. Can't have a Type R without it being a manual. Believe it or not, you have a comfort mode, but every time you start this beast, it's in sport. Yes, it's full of hard plastics, but you've also got soft plastics as well and different sporty trims. And I am a real fan of these Type R bucket seats. They're amazing. Now, if you're a bit on the rotund side, it might be a bit of a squeeze. But at my height and my size, they're perfect. When it comes to the cluster, you can see so many things. Everything from your boost through to your G's, through to your economy, obviously. The way these seats hold you as well. The bolsters, they come right up at the sides and the back. You do feel, like I mentioned, connected to the car. It doesn't matter that the seats are completely manual. Trimmed armrest in the centre that slides forwards and backwards. And on the door card, a padded area too. You've also got reach and rake adjustment in your steering wheel. I've got a decent sized door pocket and this doubles as storage too. Decent cup holder. That's a decent area. There's also a USB in here as well. I've got an HDMI down here and also a USB for the media. And decent storage area too. Relatively decent size. Let's see what it's like to get in the back. Doors open relatively wide and decent door opening too. Not the highest, but we've got a grab handle here and it's nice and easy to close the door. It's not quite the same experience in the back. I want one of these. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's comfortable, but there's more hard plastics and it's not quite as racy. One benefit is, when I'm driving it, I feel connected to the car, therefore I have the seat further forward, so I've got decent leg room. I can even get my feet under the seats as well. I've also got decent headroom as well, and it's 6'3", that says something. As for the door cards, well, they're not quite as well finished as the front. Hard plastics at the top, but you do have a nice trimmed area for your arm to rest. There's also a door pocket here and an electric window, and I do like this tweeter. Woo! Coat hook. You could sit like this and I can actually see out of the window. So many vehicles have the roof that comes lower, therefore I have to really slouch. It's got a black roof lining. So combine that with your privacy glass and it's not the lightest in areas, but it's not that bad either. Also, there's no chargers in the centre or vents. Mind you, that's probably to save weight. One thing I really approve of is the red seat belts. They're just like the ones in the front, so you don't completely miss out on that race experience. 4 people would travel very comfortably on a long journey. Also, ISOFIX is on the back of the seats as well. And there's curtain side airbags around the car too. I do love multi-function key fobs. You can pop the boot with this button, or if you happen to have got out of the car and your children have left their windows down, then if you double click the lock and hold down, all the windows will go up. The boot release is under here. It's a decent boot on a Civic. You've actually got 420 litres. You do have a noticeable boot lip. And even if you had a false floor, that would pretty much eliminate all your boot space. So this is the best configuration. You can just pull out this luggage cover. And when you shut the boot, you've got this. So it actually creates a full cover for the back. Under the floor, extra storage, inflation kit, but no spare wheel. Mind you, you'd have a job getting a 20 in the boot anyway. You've also got tethering points, 12-volt socket, and shopping bag hooks. 60/40 folding seats. If you want to unlock the car, you press it once and it will unlock the front doors. Press it twice and it will unlock the rear doors. To drop the seats, just pull this back. Doesn't lay entirely flat. There's some carpet here to cover the gap. And it does increase your size quite significantly. Welcome aboard the Honda Civic Type R FK8. And this is the facelift. And in all honesty, I was thinking the driving section would literally be me doing this kind of thing. Putting a big grin on my face. But then I thought, no, I need to tell all you lovely people how cool this car is.
And it's very cool, isn't it?
It is.
It's awesome. An everyday race car. Oh, okay.
Under the bonnet, you've got a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged VTEC engine with 320 PS. I think it's about 370 Newton meters of torque as well.
Yep, you'll be right on that. It goes around the corner like it's on rails.
When you start it, it's always in sport mode. I like that. It may have race mode, and it may corner like it's on rails, or like a train, as Annabelle mentioned. But, as we found out last year, you could quite happily take it all the way from here down to Goodwood, which is like 500-mile round trip, and it does the job perfectly because of things like adaptive cruise control, lots of safety, and the fact that you can put 4 people in it quite comfortably.
Yeah, you've got 420 litres of boot space.
Well, that's the thing about a hot hatch, isn't it? A hatch still offers practicality. It just gives you a big engine and some crazy performance as well.
And perform it does.
The sound of it. Yes, it now does have active sound.
But it's a VTEC engine. It's going to be a revvy engine, isn't it?
I was going to say it makes noise even without the active sound.
Yeah.
This car has accolades all over the world on various racetracks, even the Nürburgring. Pull 0 to 60 in under 5.8. It'll do 1/4 of a mile in under 14 seconds. And it'll hit 100 miles an hour in about 12.1.
That title of king of the circuit, of any circuit, is well deserved, isn't it?
It is. The fact that this is a short shift, it just feels so solid. Great in the hand and swift gear changes. No notchiness. And arguably one of the best manual gearboxes I've ever driven with. And it's got steering and suspension to back it up as well. Steering wise, well, as you'd expect, each driving mode does a different thing. So in comfort, it's supposed to lighten the steering, but in all honesty, it feels like sport in most other vehicles. Sport mode, nice and weighty, and race mode, woo, it's fantastic. Gives good feedback, it's very precise, and it's direct as well. You can just literally rag it right and it will just, it's so responsive, it really is. Suspension wise, yet again, comfort. It's not quite your X5 SUV, is it, Annabelle?
No, this is not built for comfort, it's built for speed and performance. But they have increased, I think probably that's the wrong word for it, they have uprated the suspension, haven't they? It's 10 points more responsive than the pre-facelift model.
And it's got active dampers as well, so depending on which mode you're in, it will tailor everything. So acceleration, your dampers, and of course steering.
And you'd think a Type R, it couldn't get much better, but they just find ways to improve it.
Well, this is the thing, each year they release one of these cars to get more power out of the engine. Speaking of that, it's also been remapped as well. They've done things to the gearbox.
That gearbox is seamless, isn't it?
I was going to say, short shift and a new weighted gear knob as well.
It's tear shaped, so it's ergonomically designed to fit really well in the palm of your hand.
As well as tightening up things like bushes in the throat, so linkages, all types of things. Yeah, everything they've done to this has just made it better, and it was pretty damn good to start with. So you get bounce rather than bump in comfort mode, but you do get certain bangs if you're in race mode. I suppose the way you look at this is, it's not really a Civic, it's more like a race-tuned racing car. I know I'm using the word race a lot there, but...
Well, even I said that. I said it's an everyday race car, didn't I?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is.
It's so well balanced, it's so well engineered.
But because of those clever design bods at Honda, you can still use this every day as a family car.
You can. Economy, I'm getting 26.8 to the gallon. And it seems to be that no matter how I drive it, which I'm quite happy with.
Well, even I was only getting 29.8.
I would buy this car. To do things like that, it grips. I cannot emphasize how much it grips. They've even made it grippier as well. The way the suspension works is, it's like sorcery. If you go into a roundabout, the more you put your foot down, the more it grips, as opposed to starting to slide, it just digs in.
Yeah, there's no slide at all, is there?
It just digs in.
Yep.
But as soon as I hit second gear, it's not me revving, it's it revving. Which means every time you change gear, you're at the optimum revs to get the most out of the engine. It means you can join motorways absolutely no problem. And it also means that if you need to pull out of a junction, it's never going to be a problem. Now, last time I drove as an FK8, I was amazed at the levels of safety. I didn't expect things like adaptive cruise control. I know you're going to get things like collision detection, but the suite of safety on the Honda's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, the Honda sensing is just fantastic.
It is.
You've got collision mitigation, forward collision warning, high beam support, lane departure warning, and traffic sign recognition as well.
Yeah.
Great for long journeys, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. It just makes motorway driving simplicity. It just makes it so much easier. Now, it may steer well, but it's turning circles more like an oil tanker. Decent lights, LED fronts, decent throw. Road noise, well, you're on 20s with a 30 profile tyre. You will hear it.
And if you need to stop suddenly, the brakes are fantastic.
They are. As we know, we've got performance brakes. I mean, you had Brembo calipers and that before, but now you've got floating discs and all types of things.
This is a premium hot hatch. You aren't going to really get much better than this for a front wheel drive, are you?
No. The power delivery, the way it handles, the way it drives, the experience it offers, and the grin it puts in your face, it's all well worth the money.